This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to Community Close-Up. I'm your host, Sharen Skelly, and our guests today are Liz Thomas, and Liz is the manager of clinical services from Keystone Child and Youth Family Services and Children's Mental Health, and that's a lead agency here in Grey Bruce, and Brandi Gowan, and she's the manager of quality assurance and communications, also from Keystone. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I look forward to talking to you today.
Well, the reason I invited you both on, Family Day is coming up soon, and I thought that it would be great that if we could talk about families, and families sometimes have challenges, and when they do, I guess the best place to go to would be Keystone Family Services, and it seems that you have a lot of resources that families could access, and I guess the website, I was looking at your website, there were all kinds of resources that you have for families, children, adolescents, and a lot of things that families could access in times of challenges, and then times when they're just looking for information. So I guess you could tell us a little bit about how to access those services, what kind of services that you have, and a little bit about the makeup of families now. I guess I'm used to my children, I've raised my children, I'm in my 60s now, and I guess the makeup of families has changed over the years, and it's not the traditional family that we once knew. So I guess whoever wants to start, I guess, can tell us, the viewers, a little bit about Keystone Family Services. What does Keystone do for us here in the community?
I don't mind starting, Brandi, and feel free to interject at any time. So I would say Keystone offers a wide variety of services across the age spectrum of 0 to 17. So we have primary prevention programs such as our Healthy Babies program, where we have nurses who go and support people with their new babies. We provide support to daycares with respect to things like building resiliency, with the really little tiny humans. We also have a fairly extensive counseling program. The counseling program, and these are services that people can self-refer. I would say the majority of families that come to Keystone call themselves. You certainly don't need a physician referral or a school referral. You can contact yourself. And so we have a counseling program that really, I would have to say, did a fantastic job of having as little disruption as possible when we moved into this COVID era. I think we managed to jump into virtual services, which had previously never been a part of what we had provided before. So we all had to get on our technology thinking caps on and jump into the virtual world. But it's actually really allowed us to make it easier for families across Grey Bruce to access services. Not everybody has an easy time driving from Tobermory to an office in Owen Sound. So where they can join and gain support in their own home has been really unique. And I would say one of the benefits that has come out of COVID is that we were forced to join the virtual world. We offer a lot of workshops through our counseling program. And the workshops are for youth and for children. Some are workshops where we bring the caregivers and the children together. And some of the workshops are simply for the caregivers themselves. And you started the show talking about how families have changed. And I would say that one of the trends we really recognized at Keystone is that we had a lot of grandparents raising their children. Ooh. So as a response to that, we've started a grandparents group where they can come together and just have that very valuable peer support of what it's like to be raising children, for the second time around, and all the challenges that go along with that. We also have a live-in treatment program, which is a short-term acute stabilization home where youth aged 12 to 17 can go and stay for about 3 weeks. Sometimes they stay up as long as 6 weeks. And it's a really supportive environment where it's staffed 24/7. It's not a hospital, so it's a home where there's constant support. And sometimes it's just the family dynamics. There just needs to be a break from that. So we offer respite. And sometimes the LIT is providing more sort of intensive supports like life skills teaching and skills coaching and constant supervision if there are some safety concerns with some of the youth. We also have a special needs strategy division in Keystone, which is where we have youth who may have autism or a lot of sort of complex medical and mental health conditions. And we support the families and getting everybody who needs to wrap around that family and support them. We sort of coordinate those services and get them linked up with the various funding programs that are available provincially. So we offer a lot of services. Brandi, I must have something.
Well, no,
I was just going to say before you go on, I have a couple questions because from what you've just said. First of all, my first question is, do people that access this have to pay for this? Or is there any kind of cost to any of this? I know the government pays for things, but do people have to pay anything on top of that?
No,
it's covered.
No?
Everything
Okay.
is completely free. All of our services here at Keystone are free. They're also voluntary. So youth and families choose whether or not they want to be in service as well. They're not ordered to be in service or anything like that. So many times they are picking up the phone or they're identifying a problem at home and they need a little bit of help. So they can pick up the phone and call into Keystone to receive some of our services, and that's done free of charge.
Okay. Next question. You mentioned because of COVID, a lot of things, like all kinds of things, have had to go virtual online. Now, what if someone doesn't have a computer and they need to do this online? What have you done? How have you managed to solve that challenge? And what have you done? Because not everybody has enough money to buy a computer. What if you don't have a computer?
Do you want me to take this one, Liz?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandi.
So there's been a ton of changes just in terms of how we provide service at Keystone, but we've never stopped providing in-person services throughout the entire pandemic. So families are still able to come into the office. We have a lot of safety protocols like mask wearing and hand washing and things like that. We've changed a few of our offices around to ensure that everyone is safe during COVID, but they can access services not only in person, but also through video conferencing. But even picking up the phone. So, and in times when families are unable to access any of those, we will work for a solution. So, maybe it's providing phone cards to people who aren't able to afford a phone, or finding unique ways to meet. Sometimes meeting at schools, things like that. So we will work very closely with our community partners to be able to facilitate those meetings, and we work with the families to meet them where they're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we know not everyone has the money to afford computers, or even sometimes cell phones or a tablet or that sort of thing. And you mentioned, Liz, you mentioned working with, I think, new mothers or babies, new mothers. Is that something that's just for new mothers that are having like problems or issues with their newborns, or is that for healthy babies and moms?
From my understanding, it's for anybody, anybody who feels like they could benefit from one of our healthy baby nurses to go visit can access that service. And then we also, part of that program also involves having, I think it's called the early on centers, where we bring families with little ones together, which again has had to be, limited with COVID. But we bring them together. I mean, sometimes new parents just need to talk amongst each other. And so we also run those groups. And those were also run virtually as well during COVID too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like new parents need peer support kind of,
Absolutely.
And you often get tips and, well, just a shoulder to cry on if you're having, up all night, or just you're wondering if you're doing it right, or is it normal. Just from hearing it from other parents sometimes makes you feel better. But yes, and then having a professional there to guide you through it. Yes, I think that's a good idea. So those were some of the things that I kind of wondered when you were talking about. Those are all great resources. So then how do you said you can refer yourself, so you just call in, and if you're having, like, you go online and you see all the resources, you just call in. You don't have to have a doctor or whatever. You just call in, and then there's a referral process that they go through.
Yep, you call and you're directed to our intake department. Now our phones are only answered 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. But typically our intake workers try to respond to people within 24 to 48 hours. And the intake worker would simply collect their information, find out what are some of the main concerns, and that helps the intake worker in collaboration with a clinical supervisor sort of steer what program direction that family may benefit from the most.
And that's anywhere in Grey Bruce,
anywhere in Grey Bruce. And we're trying very hard to be to have sort of satellite locations. Like we have an office in Owen Sound, but we also have an office space in Hanover. But we're also trying to be part of the various different family health teams and have an office space in those, so that we can meet people where they are at. So have an office space in the Kincardine Family Health Team and the Southeast Grey Community Health Center in Markdale. So we're trying to be less centralized to Owen Sound.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, I interrupted you, Brandi. Were you going to add something to what we were talking about, what Liz was talking about?
No, I think it's just really, if I was to get anything across to families, is that, if you're noticing a difference in your child, or something, that behaviors that are changing or things like that, to really, it may be scary to pick up the phone and make a referral, but doing so earlier is better for everyone. So I always do want to encourage those families, if if you're hesitating, or if you're thinking that, hey, I might need some extra support with my child, or are they meeting milestones that I want them to as babies, or things like that, depending on what age group they're at, that to pick up the phone and contact us here at Keystone, and we'll direct you to the right services that you might need depending on the age of their child or some of the concerns that you're having. Sometimes parents just want to learn a little bit more about maybe anxiety or ADHD, and we have workshops that they could attend as well. So, the only thing I would like to get across to family is to pick up the phone and make that phone call.
Right. Now, do you go into the schools at all for any services, or do you have anything to do with the schools?
We certainly do. I think the Ministry of Education has done a really good job at investing in their own mental health supports. Both the Catholic Board and the Blue Water Board have some great mental health resources. So often we will partner with them if it seems to be, a case that needs a little more support than what the school mental health supports are able to. We will go into the school. This was halted during COVID, but typically we would do classroom observations. So we would just, observe how a child is interacting in the classroom and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Now, are you connected at all with, is there such a thing as, it was Children's Aid, but it's now what, Bruce Gray Children and Family Services? Do you work together, or is there an overlap with them, or are you connected at all?
We certainly have a partnership with respect to, we always have a duty to report. If we suspect there's an issue of child protection, we have to report that to that society, and that's always made clear with families right from the very start, so that there's no surprises along the way. So we try our best, as does Bruce Gray Child and Family Services, to work collaboratively to support the family. So we're not the same agency, but we share a lot of the same clients sometimes, and do our best to work together.
They're more of a child protection agency, and you're more of a resource for, what would you say? How would you put it? Your
mental health and social and emotional well-being for children, youth, and families. So again, understanding that the child is typically surrounded by a family, whatever that family may look like. So as you stated earlier, families look a little different. Every family is unique. They have a different structure. And really we consider family who is a part of that circle of care for that child. So we do, like I said, we work closely with partners as well to build that circle of care around that child too.
Right. Yeah. And families certainly are different now. Well, there's always been unique families. Well, let's face it, families have always been unique, but it just seems now that there's more and more traditional families are not as, what can I say?
Sometimes they're not the majority anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It's not unusual to have a unique family. I mean, it's not unusual to be a single parent, or a same-sex family, or whatever. I mean, and even foster parenting, or like you say, grandparents. I'm surprised though that there's that many grandparents fulfilling the role. Can you? What would be the reason for so many grandparents raising children? Do you have any?
Well, I think the child welfare system really tried to steer away from foster homes and making use of,
Yes.
of people in the kinship circle.
Yes. Yeah.
A little less, potentially traumatic, and keeping people within their family, whether even if it's an extended family. I don't know if that's the reason. That would just be a theory I have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does make sense. And it's so much better for the child and the parent, the biological parent.
Mm-hmm.
It's better for them, I would think, for the biological parent. But it's hard for the grandparent, I would imagine.
I've so much respect for grandparents who take on that role. And the more we can support them, the better. So I'm really happy that we recognized that trend and formed the group as a result. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't imagine. Well, I can, because I live with my son and daughter-in-law. We're multi-generational family. And I have a 3-year-old granddaughter almost, and a set of twins that are 7 months old. And we all live together, and I just can't imagine being the one that was, oh my goodness, I'd be exhausted. So kudos to anyone raising their grandchildren on their own. They would be a hero. But also, I mean, I just can't imagine the love they would have for their grandchildren doing it. It would be a love, and you would be the people that would be helping them through it. So, yeah. And, the child is like you say, you're doing it for the children, and that's the support for the children. And you're giving the support to the families in order for those children to stay within that family. So, and the children will thrive with that. So, do you ever, how long has Keystone been in existence?
1974. I knew that answer.
1974, and we became incorporated in 1982. So this March will actually be the 40-year anniversary of being incorporated in Grey Bruce area. So that's a long time we've been supporting families, and a long time to be in this area, to understand our community, and to learn and grow as a community. So I think that's been a big benefit for us to have that deep understanding, to build partnerships with all of the other organizations. And it's been a long time here in Grey Bruce.
And you know what it takes to be, I don't want to say successful, because really, what does success mean when you're talking about a human being? I mean, it's different for everybody, but you know what it takes to provide the services that they need. So you know what you require to provide those services and get the resources. So if you've been in existence for that long, you know Keystone knows what you need, what they need, which takes me to the next thing I want to talk about: money. Everybody needs money, and everybody needs people. So I guess you'd be the one, Brandi, that I need to talk to about this. Funding. Where do you get your money? I know you probably get money from the government, but not all the money you need. So do you do fundraising?
Yes, we do. So we do receive funds from ministries to support some of the work that we do. But as a lot of people know, that funding is stretched beyond what we need. So we do fundraising. We are currently looking to build a new live-in treatment program here at Keystone. So we have one already in an old century home. But we're looking to build it in our existing facility here at Keystone, so that it's more accessible. So it's all one level. You don't have flights of stairs. We'd have 8 bedrooms instead of 7 bedrooms. So our next major fundraiser is really going to be supporting the renovations of that new youth live-in treatment program. So we will be doing some fundraising, but we also have an annual golf tournament that we do. I suggest to anyone who's looking to support youth mental health to check out our website, and we can donate through Canada Helps. But yeah, every dollar that you spend is a dollar going towards the well-being of children here in Grey Bruce. So we always do appreciate those donations.
Great, and you'll be doing that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would also just mention that Bruce Power has been a constant supporter of Keystone.
Okay, great.
And increasing our ability to provide services as well.
Good to know. Thank you to Bruce Power for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're having you'll be having the golf tournament this summer?
Yes, our golf tournament will be on June 23rd this year at Legacy Ridge.
Okay, and people can watch you'll be advertising it on local media?
Yes, we have on our website, on our social media pages, and on local media.
And your local, your websites are all Keystone Youth and Family Services. People can look it up like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever have need for volunteers?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's different in COVID just because of the way COVID is doing. We're always looking for families to sit on our family advisory. Youth, we do have a youth advisory that meets a couple times a month and does some youth-led projects. We have an Indigenous working group that we're looking for volunteers. Board of directors, we're always looking for volunteers. And our Cradle Link program is a volunteer-run program to support parents with new babies, offer that peer support, as Liz had mentioned before.
Okay.
So there are opportunities to volunteer in various ways.
If you want to volunteer, how do you do that?
Yeah, you can contact Keystone. You can call their number, 371-4773, or email communications@keystonegraybruce.com.
Okay, great to know. And Liz, if people want help, if they want to, like Cradle Link, or if they have a child that they're concerned about, they want to get some help with a mental health issue, a teen or a child, what do they do?
Same thing, dial 371-4773, and it's extension 180.
Or if they forget that number, they can go online and
it will. If they call the number, they'll be prompted. They'll be prompted to the right place.
Yeah, and our website has all of the numbers there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so to remember, there's going to be a golf tournament this summer. They can participate in that. They can go on the website. They can donate to Keystone. They always want donations. They can help with building the new inpatient treatment program or in residential program. You can volunteer. You can do any of those volunteer positions. You're always looking for that. Maybe not during COVID, but whatever. And dial or check out for help with children and youth. Thank you very much for being on the program. It was nice talking to you. Remember, join us again here on Community Close-Up. Remember, it's your community. Take part and take care of yourself during COVID. Join us again here on Rogers. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
I'm Colby Barlow. I'm a right winger with the Owen Sound Attack. Get great OHL action on Rogers TV as we bring you Owen Sound Attack games live, both home and away.
Calling all journalism students. Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
I am very